'59 Pontiac Star Chief, 4-door hardtop. I bought this car in, I think, January or February of 2006. Bought it from the original owner's grandson. He blew the motor, took it who knows where to get it rebuilt, and I think they screwed him around because this car has the original tri-power, well, what I think are the original tri-power emblems. And I know it's hard to tell on these early ones, but I mean, I've had this car a long time. I've done a lot of research on these, but they say that there's in the serial number on the motor, if it has a C in it, I forget which digit, then it's a tri-power, original tri-power car. And this one does have the C, but I have these emblems, but you can see, pretty sure this is a tri-power car, which is really weird because it's plain Jane. I mean, it was power steering. I'm sorry, it had no power steering, no power brakes, no AC, no power anything. I did convert it to power brakes. I left the manual steering. But basically, I think the shop screwed him around because they knew he didn't know anything about it, and they saw the tri-power stuff and stole it and just threw a bunch of two-barrel crap, which it didn't have a carburetor, it had an intake in there, and they said they rebuilt the motor. It was missing a head. It had one new piston in it, and it was completely filthy and rusty inside. Looked like they used the old cam. Had no lifters, like no push rods. So I think they just pretty much robbed the tri-power shit and threw all the crap in the trunk and said, hey, come pick this thing up. So I had to buy a set of heads for it. I had the motor done, crane cam, crane roller rockers, Chevy intake valves, ported and polished, you know, the normal screw-in studs, the normal early Pontiac V8 shit. I think they bored it 30 over. But I built the headers because nobody makes headers, and with these frames you can't really go under the frame with them. But I used to have 2 4s on it. I did put a 1970 Muncie 4-speed in it. I found a new old stock 342 posi for it. I threw that in there. You know, cheater slicks, the usual. But it's filthy now because this thing, I kind of got this thing together right around the time I went to college, and so it just sat for years and years, and I never, honestly, I hadn't really worked on this car in probably 6-7 years. But I wish I built the headers now because I can weld and fabricate much better. But I have a lot of hours into these headers, and they're honestly not, I don't know, the welds aren't pretty. Some of the fab stuff, I'm like, I should have ran this one differently, but I mean, fuck, I did that shit 10 years ago, so we all learn and get better. Hopefully we learn and get better. But it was cool. You know, I kind of went like a 60s kind of, you know, feel to it. You know, white fender wells and dual quads. But I'll put the dual quads back on. I need to rewire this thing. It's actually been at my buddy's shop for 3 years, getting it rewired. And he never got around to it, which wasn't a big deal. But I do have the harness. I pulled the seats out and the top of the dash, that whole metal piece unbolts, so I took that off so we could wire it easier. I'll probably switch to an alternator, but got the original generator. I put new brushes in it years ago. There's the harness. I do have the seats. The back seat's in pretty good shape. Door panel's good enough for me. You know, I want to rock it. You know, I don't want a show car, you know, that's not really my thing, you know, the more original the better. I POR 15 the whole floor. It'll probably clean up pretty good. I built these floor pans years and years ago. Didn't really know what I was doing, and now they make floor pans for them, but I got the beads to match up pretty good. I'm a much better welder now. I wish I would have welded now, but yeah, Muncie 4-speed, Hers shifter, of course, Comp Plus, shifter stuff, 1965 Olds console tack that I put you know, on this trim piece. It looked pretty cool. Headliner, I might try to pull it out and clean it. It just stained a little bit. The dome lights do work. Well, they did. I'm gonna rewire it and then they'll definitely work, but pretty much everything worked on this except the radio. I don't think I ever got the radio to work. But definitely time to rewire. I mean, you can see all this garbage down here, and I was like, man, that shit's gonna catch something on fire. I mean, but anyway, cool 4-door hardtop. You know, no post between the windows. It's actually pretty fucking solid. The rockers are tits. The trunk is solid. These little corners always rot out on these. I did reverse light deletes. Those were about impossible to find. Now I've got a couple sets of them. When I bought this car, it had a 59 Chevy tail light silicone in here. Took me forever to find these Bonneville Star Chief lights. I think I've got an extra set. As you can see, they're both cracked. I think the extra one I have is cracked also, but I mean, I want to say I paid back in the day, you know, $200 for these. And now I think if you got a set of uncracked ones, you know, you're talking $1,500, $2,000. But I'm not that dedicated. I mean, to me, I mean, I wish the other side was as clean as this one, but because that other fender's been repainted. It looks like it's been spray painted, but dude, I would never paint this car if it all looked this good. Honestly, I probably won't paint it anyway, but not anytime soon. It is a Texas car, Superior Pontiac. I have this little Superior Pontiac badge too. It was broken in half, and my buddy is gonna try to mend it together somehow. Oh yeah, Superior Pontiac was a pretty big Pontiac dealer back in the day. They actually got one of the Super Duty Tempest, one of the 6 ones. It's actually the one that's missing. So I dream of finding that car in a barn around San Antonio one day. I live about 30 miles north of San Antonio, so that car's out there somewhere. Another interesting thing about this car is that it's a silver mist gray. I think it's called Concord Blue roof. Oh, you can't really see it. Let me get on the other side. And the paint, the data tag on the cowl confirms that this is you still can't really tell, but this is blue. It's just dirty. I think it's Concord Blue. Silver mist gray with Concord Blue roof. The only one I've ever seen with a non-white roof. So that's pretty cool. And I'm pretty sure this is aftermarket because it doesn't really match. It's a little bit darker. But this is blue also. Yeah, I think it looks so damn cool. But so I'm gonna, if I ever paint it, I'll do that, and also do this V on the hood. Look how cool that is. Way cool front end. But yeah, do this V blue also, that same blue. So that'd be cool. I've got all the trim. I have this trim piece and that piece that's missing in the back. I have that. I just need new clips for them. Anyway, that's the Star Chief. Had this car for 12 and a half years now. Actually, this car is the reason I sold my 59 Buick Electra, my first one. Because I had this one torn apart, and I kind of had the Buick torn apart, and I was like, man, I was just started college, and, still living at the house, luckily, but I knew I wouldn't have time for both, and I hated seeing that Buick sit. I ended up trading it for a Model A and whatever. But, oh yeah, another thing I did, cheaters, obviously, but those are Canadian Pontiac hubcaps. I ran these because they had these little stars on them. I thought it fit, the stars on the Star Chief. Pretty cool. Shit like that nobody ever notices in stock, but I think it adds to it, Same with these valve covers. I made these. I had a broken emblem, and I was like, man, this shit fits on there perfect. And so I bought another one and, cut it in half and did those. I thought those came out pretty cool. But, yeah, I'll clean all this shit up and redo it all. But this is all POR 15 too. Actually holding up really well. It's just really dirty. So I guess that stuff is pretty good. But yeah, need to clean it up. Anyway, there's the Star Chief. Probably the only, pretty sure it's the only Muncie 4-speed 59 Pontiac there ever was. So, way cool car. Kind of my baby. But